Hi, I'm Margie Holmes, psychologist, author, and educator. Today we'll talk about a new term, Valenswine. This refers to men who take their wives to a romantic out night on February 14 and then their mistresses on the day after or indeed the day before, or even both. I guess it depends on how many mistresses the man has. But first, I asked you what you thought Valenswine meant. And here are the answers we got. Evangeline Sangalang, one who talks about himself too much, like he is God's gift to women. Jan Argy, someone who reserves a 3-hour date at Sogo. Tanya Garcia, people turning into pigs during, before, or after Valentine's to date their secret lovers. I get this image of Porky Pig and Miss Piggy in Victoria Court. Hotel na pala. Elia Quintanar, a guy who will wine and dine you so that he can get laid on V-Day. Mateo Perez, someone who will ask my sisters out and say, pumayag ka na, ikaw din, Valentine's Day ngayon, wala kang date. My sisters are too damn pretty for them. Tammy Tam, someone who takes you out to dinner, then talks about his ex the whole time, and then you end up paying for dinner because he forgot his card. Wow, Tammy, nakakainis talaga yon. I mean, really, ooh. Andrew Craig Bennett, my late father was put in that category by my late mother when he asked his secretary to buy flowers and send them to my mother. A fairly moderate case of Valenswinery, but yes, he could have bought them himself. May Magsino, a strong indication of a Valenswine is when your boyfriend or husband asks you to go out on February 13, not February 14. There's a 90% chance that you are not the only one, and he's reserving Valentine's Day for another girl. Mel adds, there's no cure for Valenswines. They're just the congenital, pathological, perpetually insecure people who were born with the intense longing to look and feel better than everybody else. They do this by exaggerating their sexual adventures with the women they fool. These escapades are often told to friends over boys' night out to make even better-looking men envious. But the effect doesn't last. Decent men don't pig out. I agree with you 100%. May I just like to add an aside that sometimes bipolar men who do not take medication may seem like Valenswines because when you're in your manic phase, bipolar man who is not medicated tends to be expansive, feels that everybody loves him, and if he is merely hypomanic and not manic, he can be very charming. Anyway, going back to Valenswines, there were some of you who disagreed with the term. Don Libao Rochi says, women cheat too, let's not forget that. And you are absolutely correct, Don, and thank you. Chot Velasquez, while I do not agree with the practice, I also do not agree with the labeling. They may be lacking morally, but why call them swines? Actually, Chot, I think there are two major reasons for this. The first is because, colloquially, a swine is a cad. He is someone to be regarded with contempt, which is how most people regard adulterers, isn't it? In this day and age, with a lot of senators and congressmen accused of being plunderers, well, I think some of them, many of them, can also be considered swines. But see how it sounds if we, instead of calling them Valenswines, we call them Valenswenaders. It doesn't sound quite right, does it? Which brings me to the second reason that Valenswines are called Valenswines. It has a nice ring to it. It's the same number of syllables, plus it rhymes with Valentine's. Well, that's it for today. Next week, we'll explore the possibility that men and women react differently towards Valenswines. In the meantime, send me your comments, questions, and suggestions for future episodes on Facebook, tweet using the hashtag AskMargie, or send an email to askmargie@rappler.com. See you next week.